everyone, and welcome to our virtual yoga session. Today I'd like to take you through a grounding and calming sequence. And before we get started, I'd like you all to see if you can find some props around the house or something that kind of resembles this. A yoga block, if you have one. If you don't, a book will do, or a coffee can, something like that. The other thing is a blanket. Any blanket, no such thing as a yoga blanket, just any blanket will do. You can fold it up. And last thing is a strap. So a strap, you can use a yoga strap if you have one. If not, you're welcome to use a belt or a tie or anything that just doesn't have too much give. Even a towel will work. So as we get started in today's practice, I'd like to take you through some mindful meditation. Now, we're not going to go too long. I'd like to take you through about a minute of meditation, and the goal is going to be just to quiet our mind, find some stillness. It's not to erase any thoughts from our mind or get rid of them or stop the thoughts altogether, because that can be really hard to do. So we're just going to have some compassion with ourselves, and we're going to focus on our breath. Mindful meditation is when you focus on one sensation in your body, for example. And so we're going to focus on our breath today, which is something that I like to do because it's something that we always have with us. So we can get started, and I will play the bowl as a chime to start and end. And again, we'll do a minute. If you'd like to do more, you're welcome to. Just hit pause, finish your meditation, and when you're ready to come back, you can rejoin. So we can find a comfortable position. I like to sit on the floor, but you might like to sit in a chair. You can lay down if you like, although be careful not to fall asleep. So let's sit up, and we can put our hands face down on our knees, on our thighs, just to, again, ground us, just help us with that feeling of grounding. And find some length in your spine. Sit up nice and tall. Release your shoulders away. Just kind of relax. Bring your chin level with the ground. And just focus in on your breath. We are, as you start to notice that you've got these thoughts that, won't go away, just notice them. Be aware of the thought, and then compassionately bring yourself back to your breath. Okay? It's a practice. It's not a perfect. And it doesn't have to be, what you envision it, and usually it isn't. But it's just a practice that will help keep us grounded and center us. So you can do this, like I said, for as long as you like, or you can skip it. But we'll do a minute, and I will start with the bowl. Start to focus in on your breath. Just noticing it. You can have your eyes open. You can close them if that's comfortable for you. And just notice the qualities of your breath. Notice the temperature. Notice where your breath may feel like it's going in your body. There's no need to control your breath. Just notice. Be aware. And as you start to notice these other thoughts finding their way into your mind, just label it and guide yourself back into your breath. your breath back into your body. Just let that experience sink in for a second. And now we are going to find our way onto our yoga mat. If you have a yoga mat, great. If not, then you are welcome to lay on a carpet or rug, even a blanket will do. We're actually going to lay down on the carpet, the yoga mat. And as we lay here, just bring your legs equally distant from your midline, your arms equally distant away from your body. And see if you can find some symmetry here. Symmetry is one of the things that allows our nervous system to relax. So as we're laying here, just feel our body supported by the earth. Feel that connection to the earth. Just notice what touches, what doesn't. And as we go through today's practice, we're going to focus on the exhale. So we're going to try and lengthen through that exhale. Again, another signal to your brain that it's time to calm down. So we're going to inhale, bring your arms up over your head. And exhale just a little slower. Bring your arms back down to your side. Inhale, come up. And if my rhythm doesn't work for you, then find a rhythm that works. Exhale just a little slower, slower still. All the way back. Inhale, come up. And exhale down. Beautiful. Now we're going to bring our arms up over our head, kind of like in a star formation. I'm going to show you sitting up so that you can see what I'm doing. So we're going to come up this way. And bring your right hand to your heart. And on an exhale, we're going to slide our right hand along the left arm, coming into a gentle twist to reach our other palm. And inhale, we're going to come back to our heart. Okay? And you'll notice that your whole body is going to move, and that's okay. Exhale, slow, slow, slow. Good. And inhale, back down. Okay, I'm going to lay down so you can see this. Exhale, slow, slow, slow. And inhale, back down. Let's do the other side. Bring your left hand on top of your heart. Take a deep breath in. And on an exhale, nice and slow, we're going to slide our left hand along our right arm to reach the other palm. And inhale, nice and slow, back to our heart. Exhale, slide to the other side. Inhale and come back to center. Exhale, all the way, reach, reach, reach. Have that nice stretch. And inhale, come back down. Beautiful. Release your arms back down to your side. And we're going to bend our knees. And I'd like to bring your left ankle across your right knee. Now for some of you, this might be enough of a stretch. You might want to press out or back with your left hand against your left knee. If you'd like a little bit more of a stretch, you're welcome to come between your legs right here, and you're going to interlace your fingers as you bring your right knee to your chest. Interlace your fingers behind your right thigh, or you can even come in front, whatever's available to you today. You can even try and press away with your left elbow against your left knee. And just hold it here and breathe. Notice where you feel that. And gently release your right foot back to the mat. We're going to cross our legs all the way so that there's no space between our thighs. Okay. We're going to release our arms out to the side. And now we're going to release both knees off to the right. And see if we can keep that left shoulder grounded to the mat. Inhale, come up. And exhale back to the right. Inhale, come up. See if we can maintain that same lengthening of the exhale. Exhale, slow, slow, slow. Just really enjoy that exhale, enjoy that twist. And come back up. Now unravel the left leg from the right. And now we're going to do the opposite side. So we're going to cross our right ankle across our left knee. And maybe this is enough right here where you press out against your right knee. Or maybe you want to interlace your fingers behind your left knee or in front, whatever's available. And bring both knees to your chest. Just notice the difference between the two sides. Notice where you feel this. Breathe into that outer corner of the right hip. Beautiful. And just go ahead and release that hold. Bring your left foot back to the mat. Now cross your legs, bringing your thighs to touch if that's available. And release your arms out to the side. And now we're going to bring both knees to the left on an exhale. Just enjoy that long exhale. Inhale back to center. And exhale to the left. Inhale back to center. And exhale. Last time, lengthen through that exhale, nice and long. And come back up to center. Now unravel the legs. Bring both knees up to your chest. Give them a good squeeze in gratitude. We're going to rock forward. You're going to rock forward 3 times, and on the 3rd time, you're going to come up into sitting. So you can come into what we call Sukhasana, which is just easy pose. It's crisscross. And let's, again, ground ourselves here. So notice what's touching the ground. Our sit bones are grounding into the earth. Notice how that feels. Lengthen through your spine. Sit up nice and tall. On your next inhale, let's reach our arms up towards the sky. And exhale, press your palms together, bring them down to heart center. And let's set our intention for either the practice or for the day. It could be one word, it could be a phrase, it could be a feeling like calm, joy, peace, strong. Set that intention. And on inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, bring your hands in front of you, and we're going to rock forward onto our knees. Okay, we're going to come this way. Bring your knees a little bit wider than hip width apart. Bring your toes together to touch. and release your hips down to your heels. Now you can walk your hands forward and release your forehead to the mat. Now if that's not comfortable on your knees, or if you've got pre-existing knee issues, then you can bring that blanket that we talked about and just tuck it right as close to your knees as possible. That'll give you a little bit of support. Or if you find that your forehead just doesn't feel comfortable touching the mat, you need a little bit of space, go ahead and put a block under your forehead. A block, a towel, a blanket, a pillow. Just so long as you feel supported. You're not dangling anywhere. Breathe here in child's pose. One more breath. And now gently come up into tabletop. So tabletop, we're going to stack our hips over our knees. We're going to stack our hands under our shoulders, or you can bring them out a little bit wider if that's comfortable for you. Okay. We're going to come in and do some cat-cows. So we'll start with cow, and we're going to drop our bellies down, bring your tailbone out, bring your heart forward. Try not to look up because that might cause strain in your neck. You can look forward. And on an exhale, nice and slow, we're going to tuck our tailbone in, round our back, and release our head towards the mat. And cat pose. This is just a nice spinal warm-up. Inhale, come back into cow. And just do a few of these on your own breath, your own rhythm, your own pace. Exhale. Inhale. Beautiful. And so now we're going to come into a neutral position here in this tabletop. And we're going to see if we can try to bring our right shoulder towards our right hip. And maybe gaze over our right shoulder for a nice side body opening on the left side. And now we're going to inhale, come back to center. Exhale, see if you can do the same thing on the opposite side. So bring your left shoulder to your left hip. Gaze over your left shoulder. And come back to center on an inhale. Let's do that one more time each side. See if we can find some length on that left side. Inhale back to center. And exhale. Let's try that. Left side for that right side body opening. Beautiful. Now come back to center. Now curl your toes under, open up your shoulders so that the eye of your elbow is facing the front. And we're going to rise our hips up into downward dog. I like to pedal my dog out, especially the first time. Rise your sit bones nice and high. Press your chest towards your thighs. Okay. Bring your ears next to your biceps. Good. If you're like me, I've got really tight hamstrings, so I bend my knees, but I press my chest towards my thighs, and maybe I can press my heels down towards the mat. Take 2 more breaths here in downward facing dog. And now on an exhale, we're going to take baby steps as we stretch through our Achilles, keeping the knees bent, being compassionate with ourselves. Okay. Into forward fold Uttanasana. Okay, here we're going to reach for our opposite elbows. Release the crown of our head to the mat, towards the ground, as if there's a magnet that's pulling us down. Feel free to have a slight bend in your elbows. In your knees. Reach for your opposite elbows. Release here. Breathe. You can find some movement if that's comfortable for you, or find stillness. Release your hands to the tops of your feet. And on an inhale, rise all the way up into Tadasana, mountain pose. So I'm turning so you can see me. But Tadasana is one of those foundational poses in yoga where we want to really ground down through our feet, connect with the earth, plug in for that energy. We don't want to clench our toes, but we do want to make sure we're grounding down through the ball of our big toe, the ball of our little toe, the center of our heel. We feel that energy rising up through our front body. We draw our navel in, ground your tailbone down, broaden through the collarbones, spiral your arms open to face, have your palms facing forward. Good. Chin level with the ground. And feel that cascade of energy going down your back body, grounding you, sending your energy into the earth. On an inhale, we're going to reach our arms up towards the sky. And exhale, come back down into forward fold. I'm going to come back to the top of my mat. Forward fold, releasing the crown of your head, release any strain in your neck. On an inhale, come into flat back, half lift. Shine your heart forward. Exhale, soften and fold. Plant your palms. And now take a step back with both feet into plank. And here, you're going to draw your navel in and ground your tailbone down just like we did in mountain pose. So the same thing. And hold it here. Don't hold your breath. You still want to breathe. You can bring your hips up to the same level as your shoulders. Okay? You don't want to sag down too far right here because that'll cause some strain in your back. Press away from the mat. And now we can bring our knees down. We're going to do knees, chest, chin. So keeping your elbows in close to your side body, we're going to come down and exactly that. The knees, chest, and chin are going to touch the ground. And on an inhale, we're going to come forward. Release the tops of your feet. Press away from the mat as we ground down through our hips, through our legs, through the tops of our feet. And come back down. You can come up into downward dog either directly, or you can come up into tabletop and then come up into downward dog. Whatever's in your practice, whatever you choose. Breathe here. Take 2 more breaths here in downward dog. And on an inhale, we're going to look forward. On an exhale, we're going to step our feet through our hands. Inhale, rise all the way up to Tadasana. So Tadasana, we're going to find our mountain pose, our strong, tall mountain as we connect with the earth. On an inhale, let's reach up towards the sky, keeping these abdominal muscles strong, keeping that navel pressed in towards our spine. Turn your palms to face forward. And on an exhale, bend your elbows and glide your elbows down, glide your hands down, maybe behind your ears to open up through the chest. Inhale, rise back up. Gonna do that 2 more times. Exhale, nice and slow, 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 like we're moving through honey. Beautiful. Inhale, back up. And exhale, back down, cactus arms. And inhale, rise back up. Good. Press your palms together and down through heart center. Bend your knees, hinge forward at the hips, and come down into Uttanasana, forward fold. Beautiful. Plant your palms and send your feet back into plank. From here, we can bring our knees down to do knees, chest, chin, or if chaturanga is in your practice, you're welcome to rock forward onto your tippy toes. Either way, keeping your elbows in close to your side body. Okay. Coming all the way down, releasing the tops of your feet, grounding down in cobra. Exhale, back down. Curl your toes under and either tabletop or downward dog directly. Your choice. Breathe here. Sink back up with your breath. On an inhale, let's bring that right leg back. Exhale. We're going to come up onto our left tippy toes, hollow out our belly, and bring your right foot through your hands. You're also welcome to use your blocks here to create more space if that's helpful for you. Blocks or coffee cans or books. And we're going to come into a lunge. So bring your left knee down, and on an inhale, rise up. Beautiful. So here's where, again, we want to bring that Tadasana. So we draw our navel in, ground our tailbone down, and then we'll feel it right there on the front of the left hip. Good. Beautiful. So feel this right here. Lunge. Come back down here. You can put your hands on your thigh to help you up. We're going to come up into a higher lunge. Reach your arms forward. And we're going to come into warrior one. So flatten that foot. You can release the heel to the mat. So your left toes are facing the top left corner of your mat. I want to deepen down just a little bit more, making sure that this front knee is stacked over the front ankle. On an exhale, reach behind your back, interlace your fingers, send your heart up towards the sky as you bring your palms down, down, down. Open up just to whatever's comfortable for you. Maybe you need a towel to reach back here, and that's okay too. Inhale, come up. On an exhale, release your heel, hinge forward, and frame your front foot with your hands. Okay? Now we can step back into downward dog. Breathe here. Now on an inhale, reach the left leg back. Same thing, other side. Come up onto your right tippy toes, hollow out your belly, and step your left foot through. Bring your right knee down to the mat. And on an inhale, we're going to reach our arms up towards the sky, drawing our navel in, grounding our tailbone down. We don't want to eliminate this curve. It's a natural curve. We just want to make sure we're not hyperextending our back here, protecting our spine. On an exhale, we're going to bring our hands to our thigh, okay, if we need that, and we're going to come up into a higher lunge. Inhale, rise your arms back up, and release the back foot to the mat, bringing your heel to flatten out, and your right toes are now facing the front right corner of the mat. If this isn't comfortable in warrior one, you can always widen your stance. Sometimes I need to do that. Just see if you can drop your hips down a little bit lower, keeping this front knee stacked over the front ankle. On an exhale, release your arms down, interlace your fingers, or grab a towel or a strap. Open up your chest. Look up towards the sky. Maybe, maybe not. On an inhale, reach back up. And release the back foot from the mat, hinge forward at the hips, frame the front foot, and step back into downward dog. If you need to take a break at any point, you're welcome to come down into child's pose. Or you can press pause. It's the beauty of video. Or you can come back. And on an inhale, we're going to bring our right leg back, three-legged dog, and we're going to come forward with that right foot. We're going to windmill our arms up into warrior two. Now let's look at this front knee and make sure it's not collapsing inward. We still want it stacked over that front ankle and tracking that second toe. And look at your body right here. Is your body upright like in Tadasana? Spiral this thigh back to straighten through that back leg. And on an inhale, we're going to straighten the front knee, reach our arms up, and exhale, come back into Warrior Two, past Warrior Two, reach behind your back, open up through the shoulders, open up through the collarbones. Maybe you look up. Inhale, straighten the knee, reach the arms up, and slowly, slowly lengthening through that exhale, we're going to come back. Maybe you look up. Maybe you press your palms together. Inhale, reach back up. Last time, exhale, press down, reach behind your back. Maybe open up, reaching, see if you can snuggle your hands a little bit lower. See if you can drop your hips a little bit lower. Good. And now come back into Warrior Two. On an inhale, reach your left hand behind your left thigh or behind your back. Reach up with your right arm for this nice opening in the right side body. Reverse Warrior. And on an exhale, we're hinging forward, bringing our right elbow to our right knee, palm up, and reaching our left arm up towards the sky. Extended side angle. On an inhale, back into Reverse Warrior, so left hand behind the left thigh or behind the back. Right arm reaching up, up, up towards the sky. And on an exhale, we're going to release, cartwheel our arms forward, release the back heel, frame the front foot with our hand, and step back into Downward Dog. Breathe here. On your next inhale, reach your left leg back. Come up onto your right tippy toes, hollow out your belly, and step your left foot forward. Release the back foot to the mat. You can either have the traditional front heel to back arch alignment, or you can widen your stance a little for heel to heel alignment. Windmill your arms up into Warrior Two. Again, check your upper body. Notice if you're drawing your navel in, grounding your tailbone down, reaching like our arms are reaching in different directions, pulling apart. Beautiful. And now we're going to straighten this front knee, reach up with our arms. And as we come back into Warrior Two, past Warrior Two, reach behind your back. Interlace your fingers, maybe look up. Inhale, come back up. And exhale, back down. Inhale, reach back up. And exhale, press down. Last time. Release and come back to Warrior Two. With your right hand, slide it behind your right thigh or come behind your back. Inhale, bring that left arm up. Reverse Warrior. Exhale, nice and slow. Bringing that left elbow to the left knee. Reaching up with the right arm. Revolving that chest open. Shining that heart out. And inhale, Peaceful Warrior. So right hand behind the right thigh or behind the back. Reaching up, up, up. And on an exhale, cartwheel your arms forward, release the back heel, and step back into Downward Dog. How are we doing? Still okay? If you need to take a break, remember, child's pose or hip pause. That's okay too. As you practice, you'll start to find that Downward Dog is also pretty restorative. On an inhale, look through your hands. On an exhale, step it through. Forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way back up. Beautiful. And come into Tadasana, mountain pose. So from here, we're going to do a little bit of a balance. Vrikshasana, which is tree pose. If you'd like to find a wall, if you know you're a little unsteady, find a wall. But we'll start by putting our hands on our hips. We're going to bend the right knee and then bring the right knee out to the right side. Okay. So this type of balance, or any type of balance pose, it's good to find a focal point on the ground. We call it a drishti. It's just anything that you can focus on. So this can be your physical focal point. Right now I'm just looking at a knot on our wood floor. That just centers me. So you can come here. If you like, you can come up a little bit higher, bringing the bottom of your right foot onto the left calf. You can even bring it up higher, up to the inner right thigh. But what you don't want to do, I can't do it right now, but what you don't want to do is come to the knee. You don't want to apply any pressure on the knee. So you can keep it here. On the left calf, you can either hold it here, breathing, or when you're ready, you can grow your tree. Maybe you even look up to challenge yourself. Release your shoulders away from your ears. And if you fall out, like I did, you just find your position again. You can also come back, bringing your heart to your center. Bringing your hands to heart center. Good. And when you're ready, you can come out. And just shake out your legs a little bit. Now we're going to do the other side. So shift your weight onto your right foot. Bend your left knee. And bring the bottom of your foot up against your right ankle. You can bring this left knee out. Bring your hands to your waist. And you can hold here. This is Vrikshasana. You can come up against a wall. You can bring your left foot a little bit higher if that's available on your calf. You can bring it all the way up. Whatever's available to you today. On an inhale, we're going to reach up. If it's available, if this is something you want to do, you can grow your tree. Just notice the difference between the two sides. You can also press your palms together and rest your hands in front of your heart. Just breathe here. Even if you're an advanced yogi, you can still find that beginner's mindset and balance. And when you're ready to come out, just bring your knee back in, release your foot, and shake it out. Ooh, beautiful. Okay, so now let's reach up, up, up. Urdhva Hastasana, tall mountain. Or volcano, as my daughters like to call it. On an exhale, we're going to rain it down in front of us, bending your knees compassionately, releasing your head down. I'm going to come back up to the front of my mat. On an inhale, bring your hands to your shins or your thighs, flatten your back, open your heart. Exhale, release it back down. Step back into plank, drawing your navel in. Grounding your tailbone towards your heels. Maybe you do knees, chest, chin. Maybe you do chaturanga. Whatever's in your practice today. On an inhale, release the tops of your feet and press away from the mat, coming up into cobra. Make sure that your back is doing half of the work and your hands pressing away are doing the other half. If you're not sure, let go of your hands and see what happens. And now gently come back down. If you need to readjust yourself on your mat, go ahead and do that. Come back down to the mat. Release your hands down so they're reaching towards your feet. And we're going to come into locust pose. So on an inhale, we're going to press the tops of our feet, press our hips down into the earth, and we're going to rise up, reaching our arms back towards our feet, and exhale back down. Do this 2 more times. Inhale back up, locust pose or shalabhasana. Exhale back down. And last time, inhale, reach back, pressing down, grounding down through the hips, through the legs, through the feet, and exhale back down. Now we're going to try Sphinx pose. So let's stack our elbows under our shoulders. You can bring your left arm kind of at a diagonal, reaching towards the top right corner of your yoga mat. Bend your right knee, and if it's available, reach back for it with your right hand. You might want to use a strap for this to reach for your right foot, so go ahead and do that. A strap, a towel, whatever you have available. Okay. And we're going to kick into that right hand or strap or towel, and we're going to kick into that for another 3, 2, 1. Release. And come back, bringing your right elbow under your right shoulder. We'll switch sides, so the right fingertips are now reaching towards the left top corner. Bend the left knee. Reach back for the left foot with either your towel or strap. And then go ahead and kick into the left palm with the top of the left foot. Really feel that stretch, that opening, the front of the left thigh, those quadricep muscles, and release back down. Beautiful. And now we can make a little pillow with our hands, putting your left hand down, your right hand on top, and just resting here for a well-deserved break. Breathe. Connect back with your breath. And now we're going to press back up into tabletop. Okay. Open up. So we're going to externally rotate the shoulders here, opening up through our shoulders so that the eye of our elbow is facing the front. Curl your toes under, and we're going to press back into downward dog. On an inhale, reach your right leg back. And on an exhale, we're going to bring our right knee to the outside of our right wrist. Okay. We may want to walk this left leg back a little bit. And we can kind of roll over to the side here to bring the front edge of our shin as close as parallel to the front edge of the mat as is available today. Okay, from here you can inhale, bring your sternum up, and exhale. We're going to walk our hands forward if that's available to you. If it's not, you can use your blocks or you can stay up there. If you have your blanket handy, see how my hip isn't touching here? I want to support it by finding something that'll fit there so it's not just waving around, so that it feels supported by either the block or the blanket. Okay, you can also take a look back and see if your left leg is directly behind you. And when you're ready, you can interlace your fingers and release the crown of your head down towards the mat. If you'd like a little bit more of a stretch, you're welcome to walk your hands even further and bring your forehead down to the mat. Remember to breathe here and notice where you feel it. You might feel this one in several places. you're ready, you can walk your hands back up if they're not already there. Remove any props from under your right hip. Bring your left knee off the mat and bring your right foot back into downward dog. On an inhale, bring your left leg back. On an exhale, bring your left knee to the outside of the left wrist. You might want to bring your left shin as parallel as is available to that front edge of the mat. Now that you know where we're going, you might be able to go a little bit further, or you might say, I'm going to stop there. Go ahead and walk that right foot back to whatever is comfortable and available. On an inhale, rise your sternum up. On an exhale, walk your hands forward to come either to rest on your forearms, interlace your fingers, and release the crown of your head down towards the mat. Or you can continue to walk your hands forward and bring your forehead down to the mat. Remember to breathe here. Keep breathing. Breathe into that outer corner of the left thigh, the left hip. And when you're ready, you can walk your hands back. You can move any props. Bring the right knee off the mat and step back into downward facing dog. Beautiful. Almost done. On an inhale, look through your hands. On an exhale, step it through. Come into forward fold. On an inhale, rise all the way back up. And exhale, slow, slow, slow. Bring your hands to your waist. We're going to come into a wide-legged forward fold here. So go ahead and face the opposite way, so you're lengthwise on your mat. We're going to take a giant step out. Okay, about 4 to 5 feet. Let's make sure that the outer edges of our feet are parallel with the front and back edges of our mat. Inhale, bring your hands out to either side, rolling your shoulders back, and checking to see if our wrists are stacked over our ankles. Beautiful. So release your hands back to your waist. On an inhale, rise your sternum up. And on an exhale, we're going to hinge forward at the hips, bringing our sternum towards the earth. Needing our heart to shine onto the earth, releasing the crown of your head. You can use blocks here if this is comfortable for you. At any height, actually, whatever is comfortable for you. And slowly you can start to release down just a little bit further. Maybe even walk your hands between your feet or behind your feet. Just notice where you're feeling that. Walk your hands back up and bring them back onto the blocks. If that's what you're using today, or coffee cans. Bring your hands to your hips, and on an inhale, roll up all the way back up. And we're going to heel toe our feet back together. Good. So we're going to come back up to the front of our mat. On an inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, forward fold. Release the crown of your head down. And let's bend our knees ourselves with our hands as we come back to sit down. Move these blocks out of the way. We're going to come into Dandasana, which for this I like to use a blanket. You can too if you have one available. Just gives me more height. Okay. So I'm going to release my legs out in front of me, point my toes straight up towards the sky, press my hands into the earth, right next to my hips, and open up through my collarbones. So this is a seated staff pose. Press your legs, using your muscles, not your hands. Press your legs into the mat, into the earth, ground down here. And we'll come into a seated forward fold. Let me grab my strap. And for those of you that are really bendy, you can inhale and just hinge forward. Inhale, rise your sternum up. Exhale, hinge forward. You can use your peace fingers to circle around your big toe and come down here. I am not so bendy, so I will use a strap. No shame in my game. I am going to do whatever is comfortable for me. Keeping my elbows out, I'm going to reach forward with my sternum. Shine the light of my heart to my toes. So I don't want to collapse here. I'm going to reach forward, keeping that openness that we've created through our practice in the heart space, in the chest, through the collarbones. Beautiful. And gently release the strap. Place it off to the side. And you can bring your blanket off to the side as well. Let's lay on our backs, and here if you have a block or a book, that would be helpful. We can come into bridge pose by bringing our heels as close to our hips as possible, keeping our knees together, so making sure that our knees don't fall apart here. And if you want to use a block in between your knees to make sure that that happens, go ahead and do that. Or if you just need a little bit of a break and want to support yourself, you can press up and just bring the block under your sacrum. The sacrum is that little triangular bone at the base of your spine. You don't want to put it in your lower back because that's going to cause you to hyperextend, and that is not going to feel comfortable or supportive. So go ahead and do this. If that's uncomfortable for your knees, at any point you can take a step back out. If you'd like to try it without the block, and do an active bridge, we can press up with our hips, bring our chest up towards our chin. You can bend your knees and bend your elbows, and see if you can bring your elbows a little bit closer in to open up through the chest, and gently release down here. Now if you've got a block, you can go ahead and come into a supported bridge. And just allow your sacrum and your hips to release, kind of melt into the earth. Again, find that connection. Just breathe here. And when you're ready to come out, you can remove the block. Now press it up and place it off to the side. Now let's bring I'm going to push this away. Let's bring our feet to the outer edges of the mat, keeping them as close as is comfortable to your hips. And on an exhale, we'll release both knees off to the right. Inhale back up. These are just windshield wipers. You can sync up and off to the other side. You can sync up with your breath. Inhale back up, and do your best to slow through that exhale. To remind your brain, hey, we need to calm down. Let's slow things down a little bit. like a deeper stretch, you're always welcome to bring your opposite foot onto the opposite knee. Inhale back up. Exhale off to the side. Inhale back up. And back up to center. Now bring your feet back to the center of the mat. Bring your right foot over your left and cross your legs again. See if you can close this space so there's no gap between your two thighs. And on an exhale, slowly bring your knees up to your chest. Again, you can use a towel or a blanket if that's what's comfortable for you. And maybe you put your hands on your knees to bring your knees up to your chest. Maybe you can bring them along your shins, or you can bring them down to the tops of your feet. See if you can rotate your legs out from your feet. And just notice where you feel this. Breathe. And then gently release. Release your legs back down. Unravel your right leg. And now we'll do the other side. So bring your left leg to cross your right. Slide your thighs together so there's no space between your thighs. On an exhale, bring your knees up to your chest and either hold them here with your hands or with a strap or with a blanket or a towel. Anything will do, or you can walk your hands down your shins or even to the tops of your feet for a nice leg rotation. And this will stretch your piriformis muscle, a muscle that gets tight when we sit for long periods of time. So just breathe into the outer left hip. And now gently release. And unravel your left leg. Bring both legs down onto the mat, bringing your legs equally distant away from your midline, bringing your arms equally distant away from your body, and seeing if you can tuck your shoulder blades a little bit further in, spiraling your palms open as we come into corpse pose, Shavasana. This is our final resting pose for our practice. This is where we can really allow the benefits of our practice to seep in. So release yourself of any breathing pattern here and just relax. Enjoy this experience. You're welcome to put a pillow under your head or under your knees if that's comfortable. Just get comfortable, and maybe you can put a blanket over you if you start to cool down too much. You're welcome to do this for as long or as short as you like. I recommend 5 to 10 minutes of Shavasana. If you'd like to go that long, you're welcome to press pause and then rejoin us when you're ready. Bring ourselves back into our bodies by wiggling our fingers, wiggling your toes, bending both knees, bring one arm up over your head, rolling over onto one side, in the fetal position. When you're ready, you can use both hands to press up, away from the earth, and do a comfortable seated position. I'd like to read one page from a book that, one of my favorite books is Meditations on a Dewdrop by T.S. Little. It speaks of impermanence. This passage is called Having Space to Just Be. I think the teachings on impermanence are relevant to all events and circumstances that occur in our lives. When we look closely into the nature of things, it becomes evident that nothing stays the same. We see this in geology, fashion, language, culture, and technology. All things undergo change. The throttle and pace of our lives today are set at such a high level that we get caught up in a constant flurry of activity. Our days are jammed with tasks and appointed duties. The greater the speed of our activities and the more congested our schedules, the more challenge it is to witness each event as it passes. Circumstances and events glom onto one another and become glued until it becomes difficult to see things clearly. There is not sufficient time and space between events, and as a result, people feel overwhelmed. For this reason, it's important to allow for more space into one's life, in a sense, to let the light in. A meditation practice invites open space into the mind, and the more space we can generate around our thoughts, the less sticky they will be. And within this spaciousness, there is the possibility of stillness and silence. So on an inhale, reach your arms up towards the sky. Exhale, press your palms together and down through heart center. Thank you for sharing your practice today.